Welcome back, friends. I'm back in my familiar surroundings, but coming to you from a very different place today. I need you to let me speak from my heart, because like many of you, I've been struggling the last couple of days to process through all the painful news that's been coming out of the Texas Hill Country and the loss of life due to the flooding down there, and particularly the loss of life of so many young kids who were away for a week of camp that's supposed to be one of the highlights of their summer, and tragically, they'll never get to experience again.
109 people have died in Texas after catastrophic flooding over the weekend, and officials say around 160 are still missing.
Tonight, 109 people are confirmed dead statewide, and 161 people remain missing out of Kerr County alone.
Hope is fading there of finding more survivors of the flash floods in Texas. At least 100 people died.
I'm not a professional therapist. I'm not a psychologist or psychiatrist. I'm not trained to be a therapist. But as an obstetrician, I was around parents when they lost a child, a newborn. As a gynecologist, I had to deliver tough news about an ugly cancer diagnosis. So I've been around some people who have been through some really hard times. And I know that I'm struggling, and I suspect that some of you may be as well. And I just wanted to share some tactics that can help us get through difficult times like this. First and foremost, it's important that we acknowledge whatever it is that we're feeling. And it sounds silly, but give it a name, because it makes a difference if we are feeling sad, or if we're feeling angry, or if we're feeling grief, or we're feeling overwhelmed. I'll be honest with you, there was a moment a day or two ago where I actually felt gratitude that my kids and my wife and my family was all safe. And guess what? That caused me to feel guilt. Another really helpful thing is to limit your exposure to the news. We live in a 24-hour news cycle. The cable TV is always on, unlimited access to an inflow of news, with all the social media feeds through YouTube and X and Instagram and TikTok and everything else. Unfortunately, when it comes to news, bad news sells. The old saying in network news was, if it bleeds, it leads. So they don't typically shy away from sharing bad news, and it can become overwhelming. As you're processing through these feelings, it might be helpful to put yourself on a news budget. Give yourself 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes in the evening so that you're keeping up to date with the latest findings, but don't fall prey to that constant input of more bad news, reinforcing how you're already struggling and feeling. It can also be helpful if you can find a way to do something to help. Now, I'm not expecting everybody to go down to Texas and lend a hand in the search and rescue. Sometimes it's helpful to make a donation to Red Cross or Catholic Charities or one of the charities that are helping to the local folks get through this incredibly hard time. Sometimes writing that check is enough. Sometimes it's helpful to reach out to somebody that lives in the area and is more directly impacted than you are. Sometimes just helping out locally, working at a food kitchen, doing something to help the homeless, making an impact on someone less fortunate can actually help you process the bad news that's coming out of Texas right now. It can also be really, really valuable to practice mindfulness. When I say mindfulness, a lot of you are thinking about meditation, and meditation is a real commitment. And most of us don't put enough into that practice, but mindfulness can even be just being aware of what's going on around you and finding the good that we can focus on instead of constantly shifting to the sad or the angry or the news that puts us in that negative space. Even if we can just find a couple of minutes, as I've said before, to go to that happy place, close your eyes. I'll be thinking about the couple of days that I got to spend with my wife and kids at the beach just over the 4th of July holiday. That's a happy place for me. Another thing that can be super helpful is practice deep breathing. I really like box breathing, and box breathing is where you inhale over 4 seconds, you hold your breath for 4 seconds, you exhale over 4 seconds, and then you wait 4 more seconds until you take your next breath. That can have an impact on your physiology to literally slow things down and to help you feel a little bit more grounded and a little less on the edge. It's also important in times like this that we stick to our routine. Believe it or not, the dull routine that defines our day, getting up in the morning and having breakfast and driving to work, whatever your routine is, that is a structure that helps you get through your day. And again, at times like this, it's so easy to get overwhelmed by the bad news and let that consume all of our free time, all of our free thought. So sticking to your routine is really critically important. And if you don't journal, now is a great time to start journaling. You can tell I'm a fan. Journaling is good because it helps you to write down what you're thinking and what you're feeling. As you write it down, you're having to define what it is that you're processing. Go back to step one, right? It makes a difference if you're sad or if you're angry. Journaling is something that I strongly encourage you to do. This doesn't work all the time. Sometimes we have an investment or have an angle that pulls us in deeper than these steps can get you through. And if you're at that point, please, please, please seek professional help. I'm just an OBGYN who's been around some tough situations, and these tactics have worked for me. Trained therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, they have different tools in their toolbox. And if you need it, please reach out for it. There's no stigma, there's no shame, there's no shadow that follows you around if you ask for help. But if you need help, let's get it. It can be a medical professional, it can even be a clergyman that you trust. But you need to have those conversations out loud. Because the one thing that I really can't emphasize enough is we need to maintain that human connection. It's great that you can post something on X or you can post something on YouTube like I'm doing, but nothing beats the human connection. And sharing your feelings, your insights, your thoughts with others, it not only helps you to lighten your own burden, it actually gives permission to the people that you're speaking with to acknowledge their feelings and to unburden themselves as well. Friends, we have to take care of ourselves if we're going to take care of others. And I hope that this information helps. Hit like, hit subscribe, please, please, please share this with others who, like me, are struggling to make sense out of this terrible news. I'll see you again soon.